Okay, let's do this. Let's go to Alan K. Patch before he blows up the phone line again. We are gonna go to Alan K. Patch, and we will get Alan in here, and we're going to be chatting with him today about a lot of different topics. Lafayette to be one of them, and we are going to go to the Skype. We have got Alan K. Patch with us today. AK, how are you, sir?
Good. Can you see me, Jiggy?
No, I cannot. Do you have the button at the bottom? There you go. There we are. We've got him. It's Alan K. Patch. He joins us today here on our broadcast, and going to be talking with Dr. Patch here about Lafayette. And if you want to get more information on Alan's books, check out akpatchauthor.com. Go over to akpatchauthor.com. Pick up his incredible books. He's won a lot of great reviews and praise from folks. We did a giveaway a few weeks ago. We've got a lot of people who really enjoy Alan's books, and today we're going to be talking about Lafayette, and we go to Skype. And Alan, first of all, what did the violent mob do to Marquis de Lafayette during the French Revolution? Talk to us about this, my friend.
Well, Jiggy, I like to take these instances of history and kind of relate it to our own experiences today. And, I started thinking about this as we watch this kind of continued violence in our streets and, sort of look at how the French Revolution got going. And a couple weeks ago, I did that show on the sans-culottes, sort of the street people that started the French Revolution with legitimate beefs. I mean, they were starving and they had no representation, and they started that revolution, but it quickly descended into violence where tens of thousands of people were executed. So it's just kind of interesting to see how these things develop. And I wanted to talk about the Marquis de Lafayette because he's such a hero for us and the French, and what happened to him during the Revolution. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about him.
Fantastic. We have got Alan K. Patch with us today. akpatchauthor.com is the official website. Check out akpatchauthor.com for more information. Pick up Alan's books. And what happened basically during this French Revolution? Break it down for us. Take us through everything here, Alan. You're the historian. You're the expert. Break it down for us, my friend.
Well, first I want to tell you about, Lafayette's early life.
Okay.
Now,
yes.
He's a French, he's an aristocrat, and he becomes a military officer. In fact, he was one of the French musketeers, Jiggy. I mean, it's kind of funny, the musketeers that are immortalized in that book by Alexander Dumas, The Three Musketeers. But he was trained as a musketeer as a young man. A lot of times they start military service early, came from a wealthy family, and so he became a musketeer. Now, in 1777, he's 20 years old, and he commits to going to America to help fight the British in our American Revolution. And you have to go back in this time period where you had the development of the Enlightenment, and Lafayette believed in this idea that men had rights, and also that slavery should be abolished. That he believed in emancipation for slaves. So he commits to coming over here, and he comes into Washington's camp eventually, and he becomes sort of a friend of Washington's, and that starts the ball rolling. He becomes important in in the battles that he gets involved in, first of which is Brandywine, where he gets wounded in the leg, and that's really becomes the friend of Washington as he's recovering from that wound. But there were several other battles, but the most important of which is he's helpful in pinning down the British forces at Yorktown. And during that battle, we have the famous charge of Lafayette, the French, and the Americans, also under Alexander Hamilton, where they charge up these two redoubts that were on the end of the British line. They go in at night just with swords and bayonets, and they take those two redoubts, which are sort of earth and stone and log embankments or small forts, and they take them over, and that just sort of ends it for the British, because now we can move our cannon up. And so that was an important battle, almost like the final battle of the Revolutionary War. And so he's a hero. He's revered not only in our country, but also in France. So he's a hero of two countries.
Fantastic. It is Alan K. Patch with us today, akpatchauthor.com. You can get more information over there. Alan's books are available at akpatchauthor.com. And Alan joins us today here on a broadcast talking to us a little bit about Lafayette, the French Revolution, and everything else. So how about this Lafayette's later life? Tell us about some of this stuff, my friend.
Well, during the Revolution, still, he was instrumental in going back to France and getting aid and troops and money and ships to help us. And so when he goes back to France after the war, he's also, an important figure, and he helps to negotiate trade agreements with Thomas Jefferson, who's the ambassador to France at the time. So the problem is that in 1783, when our revolution ends, by 1789, matters have gotten so bad in France. They have huge debt from our revolution where they helped us, so they're in debt. People are starving, all kinds of trouble. Anyway, so the upheaval is beginning, and so he tries very hard to come up with a Bill of Rights for the three classes of people to try to quell this developing revolution there, and it doesn't quite work, unfortunately. He wants to keep the monarchy, but it descends into trouble, and that group that I told you about, the sans-culottes and the street people, they finally revolt. They storm the Bastille, and all of a sudden this mob violence starts all over the city, burning, looting, shooting, killing, and he happens to be the command of the Paris, like their National Guard. And he has to go to Versailles, which is the king and queen's residence. And he has to defend King Louis and Queen Antoinette from being killed by the mob that go there to sort of, take down Versailles. So he's really in a tough position because he sort of understands that these changes are needed, but he's trying to satisfy all parties. But now he's in trouble because he's defending the king and queen. And so in that instance, and a couple instances over the next years, he's sort of, pigeoned, sort of pinholed as part of the royalty. And now he's in trouble. Now his life's in danger. And so at this point, he is going to be threatened with prison. And what he's able to do is he's able to escape with his wife. And what he does is he tries to escape to the border, but he's caught there and sent to Austria as a prisoner. He ends up being a prisoner for like 7 or 8 years. His wife escapes with him, but his wife's family does not. His wife's, I think, is her mother, her grandmother, and her aunt were all executed by the revolutionaries in Paris. So, quite an adventure for this guy who's such a respected leader by both countries, tries to do the best he can to even things out among the classes, and still gets caught up. And he's sentenced to be put to prison and executed, but he does escape, ends up in a prison in Austria for all this time. Quite a story, Jiggy.
We have gone to Alan K. Patch with us today. akpatchauthor.com is the official website. Check out akpatchauthor.com for more information on what Alan's up to. And so let's talk about the books here, my friend, as we wrap up here on our program. Tell us about your books.
Well, Jiggy, just as a last sort of couple comments about Lafayette, he comes back for a tour in 1825, and Thomas Jefferson's still alive, and they receive him. He's brought around the country, and he's a hero. And when he dies in 1834, he has his casket lowered, but he collected dirt from Bunker Hill on his tour in 1825, and he has it tossed on his grave, which is pretty interesting final action for his life and how his devotion to our revolution. And one other thing is when our doughboys reach France, our American soldiers reach France in 1917, the soldiers go to his grave in Paris and say, "Lafayette, we are here." One of our American colonels does. So very interesting character. You have to kind of join this with the ideas. We're seeing our mob violence in our own streets. We have to watch out for this. There has to be law and order. Even someone as Lafayette was almost killed by the violence back then. As far as my books go, Jiggy, if any of your listeners are interested, they can go to Amazon and look up Passage at Delphi. That's my first book. By the way, it's 99 cents for a short while longer if they want to go and start that book. But it's Passage at Delphi. It's a trilogy. It's now a box set also. And pretty soon I'm going to be coming out with a new novel if the editing is finished and we're ready to go into production.
Fantastic. Well, Alan, you have yourself a wonderful day. And thanks for coming on. And check out akpatchauthor.com for more information. Go get Alan's books. 99 cents. That's a hell of a deal. Alan, thank you, my friend. And we will talk to you soon. Have yourself a wonderful day, Alan.
Okay. Talk to you next week, Jiggy.
Thank you, my friend. There he goes, Alan K. Patch. And we are going to take a brief time.